YouTube? Average guys, Raw the Legendary in here. Quick video, man. I'm gonna let y'all check out this clip real quick. So, y'all saw the clip. Yeah, Kanye, Tyrese, and Will, right? And what do these three men have in common, and how did they? What was the fatal error in their ways, right? Well, guys, when you get on social media and you publicize your woes into the universe, right? Into the artificial intelligence that is the collective consciousness of Facebook, right? I mean, you're gonna get a very monotone, straightforward answer, and that answer is get over it, basically, right? But honestly, what's going on there? How is that message received in that way when that's not the actual message, right? What actually the world is saying to you is, hey, go get help, or hey, figure out what the problem is. That's usually what people are. That's what the collective really believes, right? There's a whole lot of us that believe, hey, go get help. Then there's a whole lot of us that believe, hey man, if you just go hard and grind, you'll get over it, right? And some combination of that message is true. But why is it so inappropriately received when it's spoken by the masses to an individual? That's by and large a psychological defect in the human mind, whereas we recall the negative events that happen in our lives, but not the positive ones. So when you're scrolling down Facebook, you might see 100 comments and 20 of them are negative. Instead of seeing all the support, you're gonna look at the negative ones and you're gonna recall those. If you're not privy to the information that I just gave you, right? It's confirmation, and then and that's exacerbated by confirmation bias. All right, what is confirmation bias? That's when someone suggests something to you, and or you see something, and then you can't not see it. You see it constantly through the static of everything else. It's kind of like when you buy a car for the first time. You buy that car, and then all of a sudden you see a bazillion of them ways you never saw that car before, right? Oh man, I never saw a Chevy Traverse until I purchased one. Now they're everywhere, right? And I notice them. It's called confirmation bias, and it's especially dangerous when dealing with negative rhetoric, and that's what's going on right now. Guys, what I'm trying to tell you is pain is an excellent teacher. And what I'm trying to tell you is to use the pain that you may experience, channel it into something positive, something productive. That's what I'm always preaching. My last video discussed, one of my previous videos discussed, when you're sad, go hustle. See, when you get down, let's talk about emotions. What are emotions? Emotions are triggers that let you know that either something is wrong or something is right. And those emotions are tailored to your circumstance and your intellect. If you're unknowing, then you wouldn't be able to understand what's right and what's wrong. Thus, your emotions may be triggered for things that aren't necessarily demonizing or aren't necessarily dangerous for you, right? And so you got to combat that with knowledge. You need to be studying. You be figuring out what are the comprehensive solutions to the issues that I face as a man every day. I laid out some of those in the last video. The world is telling men to go to therapy, which is just a glorified best friend. You're paying him for his knowledge. You trust him because he's got a piece of paper. Why don't you find friends that you can pay? Yeah, right. When you hang out with a group of men, they want to know that you can contribute to the group. So when you get together, what are you gonna do? Maybe you buy some drinks for the guys or the fellas for the evening. Maybe you name it. Get together. Y'all trust each other at this point. Let's talk about ideas. If they're like-minded and headed in the same direction, let's talk about ideas. You can get comprehensive answers. But here's the issue with Will and the other two, Kanye and Tyrese. They put their shit out there to the world, for the world to see. And half of the world ain't knowledgeable about shit. And the responses you gonna get are gonna be very ignorant responses. I was talking to a brother on Facebook in the comment section, and he mentioned that I was the problem, right? I respectfully disagree. I did right there on the page. And, you know, when somebody says something to me that's in disagreement, I always want to see where they're coming from, so I look at his page. And this man was taking very stoic pictures, right? Like, even when he was with his kids, he'd only have a faint smile. Something like this, maybe. You get what I'm saying? Very straight-faced guy. No problem with that. Then I funneled him to mine. I said, hey, go look at my page and see how my facial expressions look. When I'm around my family, you get what I'm saying? The difference between me and him are probably in the ways we came up. Now, I don't pretend to know this, man. I'm presuming. I know why I smile like I smile. I know why I act like I act, because in my childhood, you know, I was able to express myself in ways that other men in other situations aren't necessarily allowed to express themselves. We could imagine these different scenarios. And so what I told him is that at the end of the day, what we're probably trying to do is find balance. He believes that, hey, we should be allowed to express ourselves. I would imagine if I was him and I never was able to express myself and I wasn't getting what I wanted because of that, I might switch philosophies. And then on my end, I wasn't getting what I wanted because I wasn't assertive enough. I wasn't demanding enough. I let a lot of people walk on me in my life, change the way I thought. So somewhere in between is the reality. And I mentioned it in my last video. Find a group of guys. If you're going to talk to somebody, you're going to have to talk to somebody that you respect. Find a group of guys that are doing something that you want to do, that have things that you want to have. Get in good with them and go from there. If one group don't work, there's another. If another group don't work, there's another. There's always a way out. But trusting the collective society, I wouldn't do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Trusting a woman, now, I might complain to my wife from time to time, but like I said in my last video, to do that continually is going to create a state of panic in her mind that I don't want to deal with, because I need her for other services. I don't need my wife always in a panic, so I don't put that on her. If I have an issue, I'm going to go to people I respect, the men I respect, which aren't many, and I'm gonna get advice from them. Guys, I hope that helps. Y'all be easy. Like, subscribe, share this content with somebody who needs it. It might be what saves their life. We disagree in some ways about what is affecting men negatively. But I think at the end of all this discussion, we're gonna have found that self-betterment was the key to men's happiness. Y'all be easy.